people, we are back once again for the fourth season playoffs of the Battle Hub Draft League. And I am not alone. I am Emeraldminer and I am joined by my fellow commissioner, Brandon P. How's it going, buddy?
It's going fine. Happy to be here.
Yes, sir. Yeah. In addition, we have a surprise guest, a former coach who did one battle of the season, but has been participated in every other season since then. We have DaBestNotReally. How's it going, my friend?
Good, all good. Happy to be here. Happy to come
Glad
out of my
to hear
lair
from
and
you, man.
join you guys for a nice.
Yes, I'm very
over.
excited to see some of your insights and your perspective on a lot of these games that have happened over the course of the season. So, with that,
Absolutely. Ever since the season started, yeah.
yes, sir. So right here, you guys can see the top 8 teams in no particular order, although they're kind of grouped by their pairings, but we'll get into that. But I got to shout out to Biradu because he helped me be able to make these oval shapes here. I tried my best to do it like he did it last time, and they just got all stretched, and they did not look very good. And he used his editing skills to make these much more appealing. So shout out to Biradu. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Brandon, and he's going to kind of go over the standings for this season.
As you guys can see, at the top we have good old Raymon, the good old 2-time BHDL champion, who I can't remember. Actually, that was 3. It was Scorpius #1. So I can't remember if any of the other 2 seasons he's won, if he was the #1 seed. I know he was in season 2. Can't remember if he was in season 1 or not, but if he was, and so that's pretty impressive. 3 out of 4 seasons, just ending it at top 1. Then we have the at the bottom, the Sleepy Laxingtons, and then we got everything in between with those same coaches we've been seeing for the most part in the playoffs. And by that I'm just referring to like Scorpions, the Biradus, Captain B-Nard, and Raymon. Pretty consistent coaches. And then we have the Mr. Abomination. This was his first season in the BHDL, but he still managed to get himself a playoff spot, which I'm actually not surprised of, because I do think he has, like, on paper, the best team in the league. Then we have the Emeraldminer and his Demewlition force, who, after a very, very climactic battle last week, made it to the playoffs, and you just love to see it. Same with Pokemaster. And then we have Arcanines, who's never been in the BHDL playoffs, finally getting here for his first time ever. And, I know he's happy, and I'm happy to see how he performs. And then we have our previous champion, Anastasia. You know what? Please don't butcher me in the DMs, and I'm sorry. But, we have our former champ, who's in the 9th seed, unfortunately just missed out ever so slightly. But that does mean that this season we're guaranteed a new champion, which is always an exciting prospect. Returning coach, Notorious H.I.M. It was so good to have him back. And we have some more new coaches, Cobra, stuff. Cool to see how he did this season. Stefan, Roller, not Silver, who really is Silver. Then, there's me. Pretty great stuff on the table,
I do want to mention, just in case anybody's watching this in like 100 years from now and they saw the captain's recap, and you're wondering, wait a minute, there's a discrepancy. I feel like why is Anna and Silver's wins reversed from that last week or that week 8? Well, we ended up having a thing where Silver conceded his 8th week just because Anna was having to deal with the hurricane and her Wi-Fi being out and all that. So we ended up giving her the win, just to kind of, because that was out of her control. So boosted her up a little bit. So now you can imagine if Arcaniner had lost that last week, there's a very good chance that Anna could have been in. But, Arcaniner got a spot. So that's that. DaBest, you got any thoughts?
Yeah, first of all, can I just say, shout outs to everyone who battled all together and stuff like that, with all the coaches, everyone. Like, honestly, give yourselves a round of applause, regardless how well you did, participated
Absolutely.
In this case.
I mean, even the coaches that didn't make it, like, there was a lot of great battles. Like H.I.M, got some wins in versus like Abomination, and Rolder had some great battles, I know, and Stefan. Like a lot of these coaches down there, like Cobra even got a win off against me. And Silver almost beat me
Yeah.
too. So there's a lot of these guys down here that even though that their record might not necessarily indicate like how good of a season they did, they had a lot of great matches. So yeah, it's just a tough. HGL's got a tough competition, man.
Yeah,
Very much.
when
Poor
we
Brand. I
first
mean,
started
Brand
out,
especially down there, former runner-up. I mean, this poor man. He had to deal with all his hacks and everything, and like so many of his games. But hey, you finished strong though, Brandon. We can't deny it. You finished strong. You got to win off versus Pokemaster,
It's
your
not how you
rival.
start, it's how you finish. And you finish strong, I'll tell you that much.
and I just want to point out how it's just crazy how since season one of the BHDL, because for the most part, let me see. I want to say, by my count, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coaches who were not here in season one, whereas the other 11 were. And it's just something I really also want to just say that I like is just seeing like just the growth over the past few seasons as well. Because yeah, everyone has grown. A lot of people have stayed consistent, and there's even a couple people who, at one point in time, they were the ones at the top, and now, people are growing and things are shifting. And I just like how in the BHDL everything's kind of just like unpredictable, because I'm pretty sure there's a couple coaches down here that you would think would have been in playoffs because of how good they are, but tides change and stuff like that. BHDL is very unpredictable. That's all I'm trying to say. Very
Hey,
unpredictable.
absolutely. You never know what's going to happen. I mean, especially with the hacks this
Argument
season,
against
you
that.
never know.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
with that, we are going to move on and check out the actual playoff bracket. The best. Why don't you break it down for us?
Absolutely. So here we got the top 8 players duking it out for that champion spot. So here we got the Mamoswine Doubters, aka Raymon, versus the California Trailblazers, which is Pokemaster 88, duking it out. And the match on the bottom, we got the Philadelphia Pidgeys, which is the Captain B-Nard, of course, versus your host, and well, it's truly the Demewlition Force,
Sir.
Emeraldminer. And then to the right of us, we got the Leaf Agents, aka Scorpion, versus West Texas Nines, which is Arcanines team. And then last but not least, we got Anastasia, Tyranitars, which is Biradu. And then we got the Athabasca Miltanks, which is Abomination. Which I gotta say, these are some strong contestants, I'm just not gonna lie. I just want to say.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
Very
everybody is. Yeah, I've been talking about just how like competitive that all these matches are going to be. They're all going to be very close games, very strong teams, all just going head to head. And we can't not help but notice. I'm sure Captain B-Nard is loving the fact that we got, as he says, the ABCDFG Tyranitars against the ABCDFG Miltanks. Two of the hardest
I should
teams to
just call it how we
pronounce
called
going head
it.
to head. Only one ABC can come out on top.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm
so
guessing.
that's the thing is that the way that the brackets are made, it's like there's some matchups that we're not going to be able to get the what's it called?
Details.
Well, I mean, we could. In theory, any one matchup is possible, but the odds of it, like the odds of getting like Arcanine versus Raymond, they both have to go through all those different matchups, and both have to make it to finals.
That's true. That's true.
So in theory, any one matchup can happen, but then I think that's gonna eliminate, let's say, like Arcanine versus B-Nard, because they both have to go the same amount. So. Um,
Mm,
the way that this worked was basically we had 1, 2, 3, 4, the top rankings. Raymond, Scorp, Biridu, and B-Nard all choose their opponents. And yeah, Raymond chose Pokemaster, Scorp chose Arcaniner, Biradu chose Al, and B-Nard, he was stuck with me. So yeah, Brandon, any thoughts on these particular matchups? What are you thinking?
For one, correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, then I can't make this statement. But if I'm right, I can make this statement. Have you and not okay? You are Emerald, so of course you haven't played yourself. Have you and Captain B-Nard played in playoffs before? I can't recall.
Well, we have
No.
not. This is our listen. This was our first time not playing in the regular season, and this is our first time playing in playoffs.
Okay, so I just wanted to say, as far as I know, all of these matchups are. It's crazy that last season all the matchups in the playoffs were repeats, but here you are in this season where, as far as I know, the only repeat is Scorp versus Arcaniner, whereas all these other games are just,
They're
this is
brand
the
new.
first time we. Mm-hmm. And just going back to what I said earlier, the BHDL is unpredictable. So to me, this just adds like a level of excitement to the playoffs, because even though some of these other coaches have played in the past, when they played, they had, as we know, different teams. So now they got their new teams. First time playing all season. I'm looking real forward to the playoffs this time around.
Oh yeah, and they're all pretty much happening. At least the quarterfinals is all going to be over the weekend, so it's going to be a stacked weekend. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think there's two Saturday, two Sunday is how it's going to work out.
Oh,
I'll get my
y'all,
popcorn regardless.
Oh
y'all
yeah,
aren't.
get your popcorn ready, folks. And these might be some long games. We don't know.
Oh, I would believe it. Like I see this playoff run. Like no matter, I see playoff. I mean, not that I'm saying that playoffs aren't always like this, but I really do see these playoffs being very cutthroat this time around. Just
Yeah.
because, everybody, everybody's just improving and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. DaBest, you got any closing thoughts on the matchups?
Closing thoughts, honestly, not too sure. And honestly, matchups that I think would be pretty clear, I'm not even completely sure. If anything, if anything, in the past I've been wrong about previous matches. So
Oh, don't worry.
honestly,
We're gonna go in depth on each of these in a moment, but just real quick in terms of I will say a long time ago. Of course, I made this prediction in the commissioner chat, but basically, I was saying, oh, I bet it's gonna be Purdue versus Abomination, just because they're both doing pretty well at the start, and I felt like they had two of the best teams. But now, see, this is what I meant to say earlier. It's impossible to get Biradu and Al in the finals because they face off right now, so only one of them can make it. So my
legit.
prediction matchup is impossible, but one of them
Um,
has the chance. So
one
with
of
that, we're gonna go check out. This is what Biradu actually made, and I thought that this was really cool because he kind of wanted to illustrate kind of the resistance or like the difficulty that each coach had to make it to playoffs. So if you look here, take a look at someone like me or Scorpion. I think that we both had four coaches basically that we had to face that made it to playoffs. And of course, he fared a lot better than I did. His only two matches that he lost were 0 and 1. So that's a pretty good indication of his skill. And the two matches he lost were to playoff opponents versus Arcane Niner, who had to face six people who were in the playoffs. And all four of those matches that he lost were to playoff opponents. But that also means, look, he managed to get a win off versus both me and Scorpion, who made it to the playoffs. So it just goes to show that even though some people's records might not be quite as good as others, don't underestimate them because their team might have been uh, it went through the ringer basically, you know what I mean? So we might not necessarily have gotten to see what the best that it can do. And also it means that that team has been battle tested. So Arcanine are having that tough season could have grown much stronger, much like, Goku or Vegeta, like fighting all these strong people and then having to get back up and then they come back stronger, you know what I mean? Raymond actually had at least in reference to these guys, he only had three opponents that were in the playoffs. So, and his only loss was to Al, who was in the playoffs as well. But just to kind of give you like an idea of what's going on here. So, what do you guys think? Anything standing out to you guys here?
I just want to give a well, I just want to give it like like just a minor shout out to Raymon, Scorpion, Biradu, B-Nard, Emerald. Even though you're right here, so yeah, I'm shouting you out. Even though you're right here, and even Pokemaster, just for the simple fact that you 6 individuals seem to consistently always find your way to playoffs. And now there might be one playoffs that a couple of these coaches didn't make it to, but still 3 out of 4, 4 out of 4, that's still impressive. And that's for the most part all I wanted to say. Like, to shout y'all out real quick, because I wish I had that level of consistency. Don't we all?
Hey, I'm trying my best. I almost didn't make it. I mean, if I misplayed or if Al had probably clicked Volt Switch on me, I might not even be here. But I appreciate that. But another thing I noticed is that B-Nard over here, his only loss. Well, of course, he had that first initial forfeit versus DaBest actually right here. But the last week, he won every other week, even against. He did have some very close matches. It is interesting to note the matches where he won 1-0 were all versus playoff opponents. So that just goes to weird how every other match he won 3-0 exactly. That's crazy. But then the one match he lost outside versus DaBest in week 1 was against Biradu on the playoff coach, and that was only 0-1. So that's another team that is proven to do very well. Let me see, Al. He did lose to H.I.M, but just 0-1. And you can see how close a lot of these games are. That even though they might have lost, it was very close. Pokemaster, I will say, so this also kind of gives us the mindset too, you know what I mean? He started out very strong. I mean, you guys can see he was on a 4-win streak at one point, and he'd only lost one match to Al, which I remember, I think he just choked at the end. Like, he had it. And he could have won that one easily. He could have been on a 6-0 win streak. But then I don't know what happened after that match with Biradu, but something happened where he just started. I don't know if he did what I did in season 1. He just got kind of tired and was like, I've locked into playoffs. Like, I don't really need to try as much anymore. And if he was kind of holding his cards, or if maybe just the mental fatigue got to him or what. But he did win. He did lose 3 matches in a row. But maybe, sometimes when you're down that bad, then I've been there too, where I've lost like 2 or 3 in a row, and then all of a sudden I start swinging and coming back because I want to redeem myself. You know what I mean? So
Sure.
compare this to his opponent Raymon, who is currently on a 6-win streak going into playoffs. You know what I mean? So just to give you the kind of like the mentality going into each of these players. DaBest, you got any thoughts?
Honestly, I think you guys summed it up pretty quickly. Also, just a little off topic here, but I'm just like looking at Biradu, and I'm just seeing out of all the opponents here, he's the only person who got a 6-0.
Hey,
little thingy.
Very, very keen observation there, using renewal. Very nice. And yeah, he's another. I mean, he's got one of the best records too. I mean, he's one of the what's it called, 7-2s. So did very well. Pretty good differential as well. So
regardless, with like everyone falling, like whether they playing strong or, and if their scores don't look their best, they're here now. So I just gotta say, props to them.
Absolutely.
That's
there we go. Okay, so with that, we are gonna dive headfirst into the first match. We're gonna go through these matches by like where the coaches were in terms of rank. So with that, we are going to go into Raymon versus Pokemaster versus Raymon. So Brandon, why don't you start us off and just give us kind of a break down this match for us, my friend?
So I have to say, before I even break down the match, I just want to say, after this game, history is going to be made for one of these individuals. Because Pokemaster So they're playing. So as we all know, they're playing in the quarterfinals, right? Pokemaster 88, as talented as he is, has never made it past the quarterfinals. However, on that same note, though, he's also at least in the BHDL, he's never lost to Raymon either. And then you have Raymon, who has never been eliminated in the quarterfinals, but at the same time, he's never in the BHDL beaten Pokemaster. So whoever wins this game is going to either, someone's going to break a curse, and the other one is, I ain't going to say they're going to be cursed, but you get the idea, though. But just wanted to point that out going into this match.
Thank you for providing that information, because I had not realized that he had not beaten Pokemaster. Wait, I know that Pokemaster beat him in season 3. Did they play any time besides that?
If I'm not mistaken, Pokemaster is currently 3-0 against Raymon in draft. Either he's 2-0 or yeah, I want to say. Now, I can't remember if they played in season 1, but I know he beat him in season 2, and he beat him in season 3. They played in. He's never lost to Raymon, so that means either he's 2-0 or he's 2-0.
Wow, hey, that's impressive. Shout outs to Pokemaster, man.
Especially when you consider this guy, Raymon, is
2-time
champion, and it's like, dang.
And the only time we didn't win, we was in the semifinals,
which is crazy. And but just to give my initial thoughts on the matchup, though, just to point out some key players on each side. So, Pokemaster, he has his mascot, his ace. The Pokemon has been putting in a lot of work for him this season in the Meowscarada. And I know normally when we do like the little the banners in the beginning, that's what I don't know. I don't know if that's the actual term for them, but I call them banners in the beginning when you have like the coach, the Pokemon, and all that. Not gonna lie, up until today, I thought Iron Moth was his kill leader for some reason, but now I know that it's actually Meowscarada. But I'm just saying that to point out that Iron Moth has also been putting in a lot of work for him this season. He's been making pretty good use of his walls with the Skarmory, the Swampert, the Florges, who is a wall in disguise, if I'm being honest, because you think she's here to wall something, and then she starts hitting you, and then you realize, hey, walls don't hit that hard. But also the returning Frostlass, Hitmontop, he's been making use of all these mons. Except, he's been leaving poor little Pincharchin at home a lot. But, we don't talk about that. Then we have Raymon on the other side, who's been putting in a lot of work this season with his Blaziken, his Latios, his Ogerpon. Been doing some pretty creative things with his Ogerpon. He's been making use of the Terrapagos. I remember him telling me he wasn't too familiar with it, so he's using this season as a way to get used to it. And I feel like even his other mons, he's making pretty good use of Tinkaton, Mamoswine, Tornadus, Weezing. I'm not sure if Clawitzer has came to a game or not. I could be wrong, because I know he picked it up kind of late in the season, but I at least know these other 9
I can't remember seeing it. I could be wrong.
I could be wrong, too. At least we know these other 9 mons he have. They've been putting in pretty good work for him throughout the season. And going into the matchup, some key players I feel like each one could have. Like for Pokemaster, his Meowscarada, his ace. The mon he knows better than probably the other 9. When you look at Ray's team, it has a pretty good time into his team because of that. Like, first of all, he has the base 123 speed. So, as we see, Raymon's fastest mon is Tornadus. Meowscarada not only outspeeds this whole team, but because of that Protean ability it has, it kind of just hits into Raymon's team just it's just obnoxious offensively because, Latios doesn't appreciate a knockoff or a U-turn. Ogerpon doesn't appreciate a U-turn. Mamoswine doesn't appreciate the signature move. You got the Tornadus, the Lantern, the Clawitzer. If you want to be technical, Meowscarada even gets coverage for Blaziken if it's not Terra. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 10 of these mons Meowscarada can hit super effectively. And I'm pretty sure can kill all of them too in one hit. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I get one shot all of them.
I mean, if he's life orb banded, for sure.
Because I'm not sure how bulky. I'm not sure how well Swine takes a flower trick, but I do know these other mons.
I don't think he takes it too well unless he's defensive.
Because I know like Triple Axle alone hits I'm pretty sure it just one-shots 3 of these mons. Y'all get what I'm saying. Meowscarada hits his team pretty hard, and it doesn't help that Meowscarada outspeeds the whole team. So I feel like for Pokemaster, his Meowscarada is going to be like a pretty like big player for him. But at the same time, I feel like Raymon also has some pretty good he has pretty good walls for Meowscarada, as well as mons that in general can be offensively threatening to Pokemaster if he lets them have their way. Like, for example, the Mamoswine, because outside of the Skarmory and I guess you could throw Swampert in there. Outside of, Hitmontop as well. Outside of those 3, Mamoswine can kind of just have his way with the other 7 mons if he really wanted to. And then, Latios can be offensively threatening. And I feel like even like Trailblazers could do something in this game as well. But, Chris still has his offense. He has his walls. And just going in, I feel like this is going to be a very even, like it's going to be a tightly contested game. I don't know what y'all think in regards to who you're giving an edge to, but if I had to give an edge to somebody, it's not even because he's 3-0 against Raymon. It's just because of just me looking at the teams on paper. I feel like despite him being in 8th spot and Raymon being in 1st, I feel like Pokemaster actually has the edge in this game on paper. But what do you guys think about the game?
The best, what are you thinking?
Honestly, like you said, it could go either or. Like Ray has, like you said before, has walls to Meowscarada, as well as I could take the hits from Iron Moth and other mons as well, and stuff like that. So that's like another thing as well. And same goes for Ray as well. He has mons that could threaten Pokemaster very much as well, whether it be with like Swampert, Hitmontop, Florges to take hits. It's like I think Pokemaster has the speed advantage in this game, definitely to that advantage. But if I had to give my thoughts on who would be, say, on top, it's hard to pick. It would be very close. Part of me kind of wants to give like the slight edge to Pokemaster, just because in my mind, this is not going off of the
not taking player skill into account.
Him having not really losing grades. Yeah, but like an anime protagonist type of vibe. I just kind of have a gut feeling that maybe he could definitely come out on top. I definitely don't doubt Ray in any means, as the many times that he's shown in battle how good he is as well. Both these players are very good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I faced Pokemaster week 1, I was like, oh, I think this is a new Pokemaster, because, I mean, when I saw that Meteor Beam Iron Moth, I was like, oh, man, a lot stronger than I remember last time we battled, because I think we hadn't battled since Season 1. So, yeah, definitely do not underestimate him, because he's going to pull out some techs, man. And it's going to be great to see both sides of this game, too, because I know that Raymon's also going to have some techs. Another thing to keep in mind, I know that I agree with all those points. Meowscarada looks absolutely incredible this game. That's basically going to be like his queen in this game. Alolan Raichu can be really good if they have to rain. The Hitmontop is great with priority. But with all that being said, Raymond still chose Pokemaster. I'm not sure why he chose him over someone like Arcanine. But they did. So, the fact is that Raymond must have seen something maybe we don't. Or maybe he just wants a chance to battle Pokemaster again.
I don't blame him. Honestly, I wouldn't blame him. It's like, if I'm down that much, I want to take him to the spot, and he wants to take him front and center in playoffs. He wants to take him on head on.
Yeah.
And what is actually crazy, though, I could be wrong about this, but I think the biggest thing that went into the thought process was, in regards to him choosing Pokemaster, was him just weighing out the options of playing the other teams. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure I remember him saying something about that along those lines.
And he just felt like Arcanine does have a Weavile. and he is not going to want to face that. I was just thinking a battle of the Lotties, that would be pretty sweet. But I guess he previously played Arcaniner in week 1. And maybe he felt like he didn't want a rematch and he wanted to battle Pokemaster again. And I know that he didn't want to choose me. Because he would feel bad if he beat me in playoffs 4 times in a row. Which I'm like, hey, listen, man, I mean, if I had a chance to get redemption versus you, I mean, I wouldn't shy away from it. But and then who else could he choose? He could have chosen Al, but Al's team is a little bit difficult for Raymond to break. That was his only loss in the season. And then then other than that, it's Pokemaster. So maybe he really did just kind of like, maybe this was the best option from what he had to choose from. I don't know. But it's not going to be an easy match for him. That being said, I do think that Raymond, I think this Tinkaton can put him some great work. If they can avoid if they can switch perfectly around with their defensive pivots, then I think that Raymond can do pretty well. Because I mean, this Tornadus Lantern Tinkaton core so far has been putting in some massive work. And then I mean, Terra Blaziken can do a lot of damage to even Skarmory. And overall, it's going to be a great game, I'll tell you that. I think just to deviate from you guys, I will give a slight edge to Raymond, just in terms of their defensive pivots. But I know that obviously Pokemaster also has the edge in terms of the offense with his Meowscarada and Iron Moth offensive core. But I think that we got pretty much everything that there is to say about this game, right?
Yeah, we did. We hit all the
only other thing to mention is I am very proud of Pokemaster for making it 100% accurate, or 100% that Pincurchin has made it to every single BHDL playoffs. And I feel like that's something you don't really see in most other leagues, right? I mean, like Brandon, you're in a lot of different leagues. How often does Pincurchin make it to playoffs?
I'm gonna be honest. Outside of BHDL, I have never. Hold up. Let me think. Actually, yeah. Outside of BHDL, I don't think I've ever seen Pincurchin make it.
And over here, it's made it every single time. Not only that. Listen, you were talking about making history. Pincurchin has not only made it to playoffs, it's also made it to the semifinals every single time.
Now, will he just continue the history? And what's crazy about this, and I noticed, without me having to look at the stats, I know this is a fact, Pincurchin is definitely his least used Mon this season.
I will say, he hasn't used as much as me and B-Nard did.
So
he has used it at least once. You got to give props for it. I mean, he didn't even want it. We had to convince him. Use this Pokemon.
He has a point there.
If Pokemaster wins this game, I swear, the only thing I'm going to say is look at Pincurchin trolling his way to the semis. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to be like, you're here, but you made it.
He's on the team. Okay? For sure.
He's on the team, all right.
All right. With that, we are now going to give it to DaBest to break down Arcaniner versus Scorpion. What do you got for us, buddy?
Yeah, Arcaniner versus Scorpion, and honestly, I gotta say, these are some very feisty teams. I'll be completely honest. Throughout this season, from both teams, I gotta say, with Arcaniner having both Latias and Weavile, good combination, honestly. Donphan, Entei, as well as this Terra Captains being Inteleon, which is crazy. That thing was crazy strong.
We had a debate amongst us commissioners as to whether or not to allow that thing, and it just barely scraped by.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is crazy that he was able to get this one. Gengar, Lucario, as well as Superior, and a little Wigglytuff in the bottom.
This Wigglytuff that he sniped off me. I don't even know how much he used it.
He did.
But whatever, it's fine. He's on the team with Joey Fontaine.
And I must say, of all the things to hear someone getting sniped about, Wigglytuff was definitely the last mod I ever heard.
You know,
Like, don't
it's fine. It's
underestimate
fine
my
because
mom.
listen. It's all's forgiven, Arcanine, because if I'd have gotten Wigglytuff, type, I never would have been able to use my shiny Zangoose and put Toxic by Britney Spears over it. So it worked out.
It worked out in the end. Then we got Scorpion's team, which he chose Palafin as his first pick, which, gotta say, or continue off with his team, is also like a three-way tie with being like the top kill leader in the season, if I'm not wrong. Which is kind of crazy.
Not to mention,
they're all fighting for it. Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't say this at the top, but if we go back to the reason why these pictures are the representations of all their mons is because these are the kill leaders for each respective team. So, and the way it works in BHGL, if you guys remember, the logo for BHGL right now is Necrozma, and whoever wins the whole thing, well, not necessarily wins the whole thing necessarily, but whoever gets the highest amount of kills overall, that is who the new mascot of the BHGL will be. So most likely it's going to be one of these Pokemon. Who will it be? We're going to find out.
And
Very hype.
And something else I want to point out. This is Palafin's first time making it to the playoffs in all 4 seasons of the BHDL. So, you know, this might be his legendary moment.
This might be it.
Very, very, very true.
This
Also
will
having
continue,
Zapdos, King Lu. That core is already just a key squad, along with Cyclizar as well. And also, Cornerstone Ogrepon, which got a shout out for that. That's been doing well as well. Delphox, as a previous user of Delphox myself, I gotta say, to Scorpion for having similar tastes. Just joking. Mimikyu, as well as Reverum, and Paraprimate, and Upkey. So, if I'm not mistaken, these two have fought between each other before, right?
They have, and this was a very brutal match because I believe Scorpion, I can't remember all the hacks, but I know like he missed a Will-O-Wisp on the Dawn Fan, which was very crucial. There might have been some other stuff.
I'll say that much.
I can't remember.
That Mimikyu knew what it did.
Say that one more time, please.
Do you remember what else happened between Scorpion? I know that he missed a Will-O-Wisp against the Dawn Fan. I can't remember what else happened, that he either got parried or missed or something like that. But there was some stuff that went down.
Yeah, I wish I could remember because they battled like in week 1, week 2. I think it was week 2. It was week 2, and
it was week 3.
Week 3. So yeah, a month, almost 2 months ago. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, my memory is so foggy. But I do remember it. I do remember there was some crucial hacks towards the end that
might have been some rolls or something. I can't remember. The biggest thing, the thing that edged Arcanine out over Scorpion was the fact that he has extreme speed Lucario, which I know I use that myself. It's a very good Pokemon. He can't Terror it this time around, but it is one way to get around Palafin's Jet Punches as long as the Palafin is within range of 2. Then that's an auto win.
Absolutely.
Alright, Best, did you have anything else to say about these two teams in terms of the matchup?
I would have to say, since both of these teams are also very strong against each other, I can also see this being a very tight match, I'll be completely honest. Like, the first thing I see is that Xander has like a good amount of speed, with like both having Weavile as well as Latias, both having very speed and also very strong attacks as well to hit Scorpion with. I'm not gonna lie, especially Weavile. That's the first thing I noticed, because like I'm looking at Weavile and I'm looking at Scorpion's team. I'm just like, Weavile kind of goes in.
A lot of ice weaknesses.
There's not too many. Dark weaknesses, yeah, with Tinglu and Klefki, but outside of that, not much. So that'll definitely be a little difficult. But even on Scorpion's side, he's at least got priority with like Jet Punch on Palafin, so if anything, it's like, well, sure, he has that, but look at Palafin and I look at Arcaniner's team, and it's just like, okay, I see the water resists, and being Latias, which can take it, yeah. And you have Inteleon, and that's not much of a resist, I'll say that much. But
You got
also
the
Zapdos
superior,
kind of goes in
at
on his team
least.
as well.
Oh,
Oh yeah, he
yeah,
does
for
versus
sure.
good.
And I feel like Delphox doesn't have the worst time against this team either.
Doesn't have like Arcanine doesn't have a strong special wall against it, or the strongest. Well, he's got Wigglytuff.
Now you got the Latias can hold its own versus the Delphox.
Oh, it
for the most
definitely
part.
can. It definitely can.
Eh,
And
the
he likes to run AV Electros as well, though it's not going to resist it. I bet Specs Overheats will probably do a lot. Turn 4.
And then when it comes to Yas, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, I think Scorpion also has Terra Fairy on his Delphox.
Yep. He likes to run that too with the Dazzling Gleam.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
You can definitely do that versus that Latias to help out. But yeah, I think one thing that Arcanine definitely has is a big speed advantage, because you look at across all of his Mons, like just looking from Weavile to Cyclizar, Inteleon to Ogerpon, he's beating out all of his Pokemon up until Entei and Mimikyu, and that's literally the top 6 Pokemon are all faster. And the next one, even though Lucario's slower, it has extreme speed. But then from there, it drops off like a cliff. You've got Donphan, Electros, and Wigglytuff in the 50s and 45. But even so, he's still got a great speed advantage overall. Scorpion's got a lot of potential setup in terms of the bulk up Palafin, SD Mimikyu, Jif Gear, Rivaroom. Even the Ogerpon can SD Trailblaze. Versus like, well, we've got SD, Lucario, and Weavile, and the Leaf Storm Superior. So that'll be interesting. They both got some of the best Rapid Spinners, in my opinion. Anything from the Donphan line is always good, especially this thing, because it can be heavy duty boots and sturdy, so it can always get rid of the rocks. Cyclizar is very fast. It can usually almost always Rapid Spin. It has Regenerator, so it can heal off easily. I will say this Ting Lu, well, apart from the Inteleon, does look pretty good, because unless the Weavile gets off an SD or something, I'm not even sure Voice Band Icicle Crash can kill Ting Lu if he's like max defense invested. And then he just eats hits from Latias. Even Electros can't really do that much, and everything just gets ruinated or stuff like that, so there's a lot of good stuff on both sides. I mean, what are you thinking, Brandon?
Man, the more I look at this game, the more discombobulated my brain gets trying to think of who I want to give an edge to, because both of them look very strong into each other. Both of them have pretty good pivot options as well. And then I just know, like, because of how the game did go down earlier in the season, I know Scorp is going to come into this game, wanting to, get his win. And then you also have Arcaniner, who's never made it to playoffs in the BHDL. This is his first time, so he's going to definitely come out the gate swinging as well, trying to, make the absolute most of his run. Which is why it would be crazy if we get a Latios versus Latios in it, like, final or something like that. Just saying, but maybe I'm being too hopeful. Anyway, I do think it's going to be a very tightly contested game. But overall, I just think that, yeah, whoever wins this game, they're going to win because they just straight up outplayed the other person. Like, that's the only thing I see happening here.
Low-key, I think the superior. I can't remember. Did they? I'm gonna have to look up the match real quick. But I'm just looking at it. I feel like the superior. It gets off a couple of Leaf Storms. Like even like a Dragon Pulse or something is gonna do a lot to like the Zapdos or something like that. So
But
that's
like
just
it
one
doesn't
thing
really
I
do
see.
much coverage against Scorpion's team that I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
I can see the vision.
Yeah, there's a
Does it?
lot of different win cons that could go in either direction because
I could see
if
a
that
lot, whether
Palafin
it be
gets
like
set
on
up,
Arcaniner's
if that
side, yeah.
Mimikyu
It's like
gets
on
set
either side I
up,
could see Mimikyu could set up, Pump could get an XD or something like that as well.
I
Fox could
know
get a
that they're
nasty plot.
also a fan of the Bulk Terra Primate. They could do something with that.
Oh, that could definitely do something.
And then on the other side, you got. I mean, I feel like setting up Superior could be good. Lottie, not why'd I call him Latios?
Yeah, he
Y'all
did
are just
not bring Superior last time.
yeah, y'all are both blue. Lucario and Entei to me don't look the worst either. After Zapped out, I said Zap down. After Zapdos goes down, of course, because as long as he's around, you know, they can't really do much unless they want to just risk the static, you know. But yeah, it's gonna be a spicy game. Yeah, I said it was on Saturday, Sunday. That's so far away. They need to hurry up. If y'all
Hey,
are watching this,
listen, man. We're already. It's Wednesday. Tomorrow's Thursday. It'll be here before you know it.
if y'all are watching this tomorrow, can y'all please play today? Please. Let's look out for your boy.
I think, unfortunately, because of the time zones, I don't think it's going to work out. But don't worry, it'll be here soon. All right, all right. We gotta figure out what are we giving the match to. What's our? If you had to put money down, who would you say?
If I had to give the edge to someone, I'm leaning towards Scorpion, primarily because I feel like, in particular, Palafin, like his Fire Water Grass for Palafin, Ogerpon, and Delphox. I feel like as long as I'm pretty sure he's going to come up with some way to get around the whole lack of speed, and I just feel like offensively, as long as he, you know, does what he normally does, like they just really threaten Arcaniner's team, and I just feel like, I mean, it's gonna be me, but I feel like Scorpion is gonna have they're both gonna have a hard time doing this, but I feel like Scorpion is gonna have a not as hard time as Arcaniner in regards to switching things in, like defensive, like having these defensive pivots and stuff. Not that Arcaniner can't do the same. I'm just saying I'm giving the slight edge to Scorpion just for like those couple reasons for the most part.
Okay, there we go. What do you think, DaBest?
I had to give the slight edge, which honestly it's kind of tough. With like Brandon said, when it comes to switching in certain months, because like they don't have they do have some good months that can take some hits, but it's like for a long time, so honestly could go either way. But if I wanted to give the slight edge to somebody, I kind of want to say Arcaniner, just because I feel like there's certain buns, not only speed but also power-wise, that could go in good on Scorpion's team. Specifically, like the first thing I'm thinking is like Weavile, and the thing I completely disregarded was Entei. Funny enough.
Don't estimate that Entei.
I'm just saying, I'm looking at Scorpion's team and I'm looking at Fire.
I know what you mean.
Both
Entei's
his
not
buns
the
don't
best
want
this
to take the
match,
Sacred
but
Fire.
for sure.
I'm just saying, it's like a very, very, very slight edge.
There you go.
Arcaniner.
Yeah, I think I'll just give a slight edge to Scorpion. I am just a little bit biased just because of the Tinglu and its ability to set hazards. Even though they do have one of the best spinners in Donphan.
Of course.
They do have a very good spin blocker in the Mimikyu. And if he can hazard stack him, in comparison to Arcaniner, who I believe can only set rocks with a Donphan or the Wigglytuff that has very rarely come. So if Scorpion wins the hazard war, and he can keep on pivoting in and out, forcing Arcaniner to pivot in and out, that could be one way to do it. He's got to do something to overcome this speed disadvantage. Even though I do think he has a slight advantage in bulk, I mean, when you look at Arcaniner's offensive team, I mean, he could tear right through those walls if he lets them do that, which Very
Have their
difficult to
pros and
catch
cons.
Scorpion lacking, but it's possible. So with that, we are now going to move on to Abomination versus Biradu. I'll take the lead here. So over on Abomination side, I just fought this team, so I've had to prepare for a while against this thing. So very scary defensive team that needs to be broken through with mons like Clefable, Heatran, Suicune, Vileplume, Reuniclus, even a Violite Electric versus the Uber Goober hyper offensive team of Biradu with Chi-Yu, Ogerpon, Wellspring, Salamence, Azumarill, the super fast Kilowattrel, even the sharpness Gallade that can hit pretty hard. But he's also, both of the teams, well, one is primarily defensive and one is offensive. They also got like a slight edge to them with the Abomination having the super fast Jolteon being the fastest thing on here, as well as the Great Tusk, which is kind of like both offensive and a defensive Pokemon. Same with Dragonite. And Biradu's also got some bulk with Mesprit and Muck. Azu's a very bulky defensive Pokemon. And Salamence has Intimidate, so there's that. Kind of a battle. We've got both pseudo-legendaries here. We've also got... Was there something else that I was thinking of? I guess, two very bulky fairies. Two very... well, one used to have Eruption, now it doesn't. But very potent special fire offensive attackers. Overall, though, to get into the nitty-gritty of the match, though, as you can see, Abomination's two fastest Pokemon, while they outspeed most of Biradu's team. After that, it just drops off. You see that the next fastest speed tier is 87, to which all of Biradu's Pokemon up to Mesprit, which is his top 6 Pokemon, outspeed the rest of Abomination's team. So, got to keep that in mind. I think one big thing that gives Biradu the edge here is this Uber Goober Ogerpon Azumarill combo, which can just shred into the Great Tusk, the Suicune, the Heatran. I mean, Ogerpon Wellspring doesn't even have to worry about getting flame bodied because Ivy Cudgel does not make contact, so that's a plus. It's not even technically weak to the Thunderbolts from Jolteon. Azu can tank a hit from what's it called? Dragonite in here with Ice Spin or a Play Rough. It doesn't even necessarily have to worry about this Vileplume, which can resist most of their hits over there. They still have coverage moves to hit it like Ice Spinner and Zen Headbutt if they get it in range. So a lot of ways for Biradu to break through. While Abomination can also do things like Dragon Dance or have a unaware Clefable and set up in their own right. But I think I've rambled enough about these two from my perspective. Let me hear what you got, Brandon.
First and foremost, because of how these two have played this season, I just want to say, I am predicting, out of all the quarterfinal games, I am predicting this one to be the longest. Because all season long, from what I've noticed between both of them, to me, they both have very similar play styles, despite, one team being like more more defensive, other one being more offensive, because they both to me, they both approach the game the same, but it's like a slow and steady. I'm not going to rush anything. I'm going to just take my time. I'm going to let my opponent let them show their hand first, and then I, do what I need to do. And I feel like this game is going to be like a crazy chess match. That's the best way I can put it. Because both of them, from what I've noticed, they like their switch-ins, having their pivots and stuff like that. And then also both of them have their win, to me, when I look at the win cons on each side, both of them just look like, it's like as soon as one certain mon goes down, this one mon can just go crazy. Like, for example, on Abomination's team, to me, as soon as this Vileplume goes down, like you were talking about earlier with the Ogerpon, it kind of just goes crazy into Abomination's team. And then when it comes to Abomination going into Biradu, I mean, I see how Abomination can win. I don't
It's
really
not quite
have.
as obvious, I agree, but he still has stuff there. Like if he can get a rapid spin off with a great tusk, or if he can get
Yeah.
something set up. But I do think that Biradu has more of the immediate offensive presence.
Yeah, but I definitely think this game is going to be tightly contested, and maybe this will be the season Biradu finally can make it to the semis.
Oh my
Or
goodness, he's just like Pokemaster. He's been locked out of semis all this time.
I know, right? So I just know they're going to both enter this game as the ABCDs, and one of them is going to leave the game as the XYZ. Hold up. ABC, XYZs. Yeah, there we go. ABCs and XYZs. Yeah, let's go with that.
Excellent metaphor.
But what do you think, the best?
At this point, someone's got to leave the alphabet. But okay, so jokes aside. Yeah, honestly, like you guys said, when it comes to Biradu, definitely having the more like running offense against Abomination. Abomination does have some key walls. One that's currently that I'm like looking at that I feel like is definitely going to have a bit of struggle is like the Vileplume, just because that's like the one mon that could actually take on both Azu and Ogerpon Spring respectively. Those are like two key mons. With the Chi and like the Chiyu having Heatran and stuff like that, that's like almost a wall to it. As well as having Suicune, the nice fire resist. It's honestly, it's kind of tough to say. It's like Abomination has like some pretty good walls, but Biradu also has some key strong immediate threats that can do a lot of damage.
Yeah. As someone that just faced Abomination, I knew that because I also have a pretty like offensive team. I was like, okay, I kind of feel like if I can just break down the walls, then I can be fine.
Exactly.
That's the thing with Abomination's team, why he's done so well across the season. If he can manage to wall your team, if you can't break his team, then you're not getting through his team. But if you can break through some of them, then you can break through the rest. I think is how it goes. It's just a tough nut to crack.
It's like he's taking his time to get his pieces in place.
Yeah. One other thing I want to mention is that I was terrified of this Terra Jolteon. It put an absolute work against my team, and it's his kill leader, of course. But one big note about it is once it chooses a Terra, it either can't really hit the Iron Treads or it can't really hit the Kilowattrel, because it's either going to go Terra Ice to hit the Kilowattrel, or it goes Terra Ground to hit the Iron Treads, and it can really only hit one or the other. I guess if you had to choose, you'd probably go with Terra Ice, but I mean, it's not going to do as much to the Iron Treads. I guess it's something though, but then you get
You gotta pick your poison at that point.
yeah, it also hits Salamis and stuff like that, but that way this Iron Treads can usually, especially if it's like AV or something like that, you can usually just come in on this Jolteon and rapid spin, set up rocks, knock off, do what you gotta do. But yeah, anything else you guys think comes to mind?
Honestly, I think we hit all the points. Unless I'm just missing something. I can't shake the feeling that something is eluding me right now. I just can't put my finger on it.
Yeah, I don't know. Has Biradu used Ampharos this entire season?
He's brought it like once, maybe twice.
Okay. At least he's used it. Okay, that's good. And then
Back to that.
The Terra Muck, I don't expect to see a Terra Muck. I can't even remember what it tears.
I don't see it really tearing, just because it's
mainly
like
this Kilowattrel is definitely gonna Terra to.
Yeah.
What's its Terras? Does he have Terra Ground for Heatran? I can't remember. I gotta pull up the doc real quick.
I know I think he has Terra Water, maybe. Wait, Flying. Oh, what is it? Flying, Ice, and
Ground.
Okay. Yeah.
So he can't hit the. Oh, of course, if he Terra Grounds, then that leaves them open to the. I don't want to reveal too much of their cards, of course, but to leave them a little bit open to the Jolteon.
Because with
But yeah, I think he has to. I mean,
because I can
Terra
see
Ice
Jolteon.
hits the Dragonite, but that thing's just gonna get E-speeded anyways. So, and it's the
It's
great.
Cool,
It does
so
hit
fast
Great Tusk.
electric type
I
is
can't
just tough.
deny it. But I feel like you'd rather just hit a Terra Blast flying on the Great Tusk and guaranteed knock it out. So,
and I kind
I
of
could see that.
I feel like this Jolteon could maybe be Terra Ground. Because I see Abomination having more switch-in, well, quote-unquote switch-ins for the Kilowatt Drill than he does for the, what do you call this thing? Iron Treads. Future Tusk.
one
Yeah.
big thing I can't even. We haven't mentioned this yet. This is the battle of the Donphan family right here. We got all three Donphans in
Truly.
playoffs. And
Oh, you're
that's the
right.
big thing. Neither team has a ghost type, so free rapid spins all day. They don't even care. So I highly
Oh, wow, I
doubt
didn't
that
even notice that.
if any hazards go up, I doubt they're staying up for long.
Oh, dang.
Definitely not.
And if anything, I mean, I kind of felt like this when I faced Al. I kind of didn't want to set rocks, honestly, because then that just, even though I have one of the best spin blockers, it's kind of just an incentive for it to potentially get a spin off. And these things, once they rapid spin, especially Tusk, it can be quite deadly. So, something to think about.
And I'm just realizing both their teams actually have a lot of similarities. They both have a form of
Yeah, so
Donphan.
I knew I was thinking about something in terms of, I don't know why I didn't think about the Great Tusk and the Iron Treads the first time.
Familiar.
Then they both have a pseudo legendary.
They both got uber goober fast electric types that can Terra.
And are Volt Absorb.
And their Bolt Absorb is crazy.
And then they both have one Gen 4 legendary. They both have a Gen 1 Terra Captain. Is that where the similarities end though? Please don't. Come on, there's gotta be one more thing I can say. Come on, give me something.
Wait, did we already mention the Heatran and the Chi-Yu? The Gods of Destruction? Although they're not quite close enough, because I don't think the Heatran has quite as much offensive capability
They're both
as the
strong
Chi-Yu.
fire types, I'll give it that much.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Azu is Gen 2, right?
Oh, wait a minute, I got it!
Correct.
Oh, wait, no, both the Magic Guard Mons are on Domination's team, dang it.
Okay, so they both have a Gen 2 water type.
They both have a Levitate Mon, that's it.
Hey, listen, let me find out they drafted them together. Let me find out.
They both have a little bit, man.
But who are y'all giving the edge to at the moment?
I think I gotta give it to Biradu with this offensive team. I think he's got the team that can crack it. I mean, he chose Al for a reason over me, even though I feel like I have one of the worst teams in playoffs. I don't have any defensive presence. I feel like maybe he chose him for a reason, because he felt like he could break through this team.
Because honestly, I do feel like if and when, well, let me just say if Vileplume goes down, I just don't see what stops Ogerpon from going on a complete wreck. Well, I mean, Jolteon can T-Bolt or whatever, but at the same time, Ogerpon's neutral. That's just my opinion.
He Volt switches and then he gets in something else. And then E-speeds or something like that. But yeah, it is tough. He's got another thing I experienced this too with my Greninja. This Ogerpon kind of has 4-slot move syndrome because he needs the Ivy Cudgel, he needs the Grass type move, he needs the
Play Rough.
He needs Play Rough. He kind of could use what's it called, Zen Headbutt, but at the same time, that means you can't run U-turn, you can't run SD, you can't run Trailblaze.
And even
superpower.
And even then, if I know this might just be a me thing, but I know if I had an Ogerpon and I'm going up against a Dragonite, just because of multi-scale and stuff, you might feel tempted to try to slide in Spiky Shield just so he can break his own multi-scale.
Ooh, yeah.
And then
sure. Well, now we're revealing Biradu's hand because he might not have thought that, but yeah. But yeah, for sure, that's a very great idea. I can't remember if he's run that. I feel like we've seen Spiky Shield way more from Raymon than anybody else this season.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all.
Oh yeah, when Biradu brings Penelope, she's here for one thing, and that's destruction.
Absolutely.
No guard.
Yeah, as a former Ogerpon Wellspring user myself, that mon is capable of some things.
And what's crazy, as y'all know, I made it to the finals of the SDA recently, and that was a mon that was on my team, Ogerpon Wellspring. She's definitely battle tested, tried and true.
Absolutely, one of the best mons in OU. I mean, wait, I can't remember. Were they trying to suspect that thing at one point?
No, I don't. I don't think so.
I think they
Which one
were in
were they
talks
trying to-
about it, but I don't think they ever did.
We're in
Oh, I
talks,
think
but
there's
never
just
did.
people like grumbling, like, why is Ogerpon Wellspring still here?
Get out of here, guys. This thing's fair.
Okay.
But if
It's
I,
fair and balanced. Yeah.
So wait, did you guys give your official stance on who you're betting on in this case?
I'm betting on, you know what? The betting man deep in my soul is telling me I should bet on Biradu. So I'm going to hope my soul is in the right place, and I'm going to choose Biradu.
What are you thinking, DaBest?
I'm gonna agree with Brandon as well and say kind of leaning towards Beardo because I just seeing that's just like.
All right. Sorry, Al. I guess we all voted for Biradu.
not to say I don't believe in Abomination. I'm just trying to say
Al definitely has a chance because here's the thing too: is that Al is one of the most
definitely take it. Yeah.
Creative team builders out there. Like especially early on in the season, he was really impressive with some of his team builds. So he could definitely cook something up to counter Biradu. But at the same time, Biradu's also known to cook himself. So this is going to be a great match, one that will hopefully be studied for by future BHDL participants. You know, yeah, it's like the old saying. You know, a good offense is the best defense, but a good defense is also the best offense.
I want to say this is the first one we've been unanimous on all night too, which is crazy.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, we're unanimous, but we also recognize that Al could definitely have a chance to counteract Biradu. But this is my first impression sticks out that offense is gonna break through, at least with Ogerpon plus Azu plus Salamence plus all this stuff. But yeah, with that, and I will say one last thing before we move on that there has been a tradition, at least up until season 3. The only time it was broken was with Anastasia. Actually, she was the mold breaker that broke through the tradition that higher ranking seed always wins playoffs. That was the case for season 2. Like if you were to look at the top 4, that pretty much laid out semifinals, finals, and who won ultimately was the number 1 spot. So it'll be interesting to see if the same holds true in season 4 or not. With that, though, we are now going to move on to the last game. And because this is my game, I'm going to sit back and let y'all talk. I'm not going to give too much of my bias here. Let's hear what y'all have to say. You can start off, Brandon.
Well, so, on Emerald side, we have the Greninja, the Metagross, the Annihilate, Enamorus, Terra Captain Cry. Y'all gonna love to see it. Moltres, the Sandy Shooks, or Shocks, I guess as some people would say. But I know when I see him, I'm shook. So, we have the Dragalge, the Terra Lycanroc, and the Terra Zangoose, who's on the rise at the moment. Then we have the Sneasler over here with the Terra Captain Goodra. If I'm not mistaken, this is like his
captain.
Second or third time he's
basically.
Yeah, definitely the captain. You love to see.
He uses it every season. As a Terra captain, though, I'm not sure if he used it in season 1.
Well, as y'all know, I do the same thing with Cinderace, so I respect it. I respect it from the bottom of my heart. We got the Scizor, the Rotom Wash, Indeedee, the Terra Mudsdale, Grimmsnarl, Drifblim, the Arcanine Hisui. So not the Cantonia one like before, but we still got the cool one, the cooler one. At least it's my opinion. Arcanine Hisui, and then we have the Azelf. So at a glance, it's kind of like the same thing as like with the whole Biradu versus Owl scenario. When you're looking at speed, Emerald just like really has the advantage because when you look on B-Nard side, you have the Sneasler and the Azelf, and just like with Owl, the speed tiers just fall off a cliff. Not as bad, because his next fastest mon is base 95, not base 87, but still, it's like a pretty considerable drop. So Emerald definitely has the speed advantage, but at the same time, when you look at B-Nard's side, I feel like maybe I could be maybe it's the time of night, and I'm just not looking hard enough as I should be. But I feel like B-Nard has a even though his team is slower, it's sturdier. Pardon the pun. Sticker, like it appears bulkier. Both coaches been playing pretty good all season, and at the same time though, their paths here have been kind of like night and day. Because with B-Nard, he's kind of been coasting through the whole season with only like a couple wins, whereas with Emerald, he had to really grind his way to the positions he's at, which is pretty impressive because the last game it was make it or break it, and he definitely made it.
Very much.
And yeah, like this, I feel like it's going to be a pretty tight game because I mean, both of them been working hard all season to get here. And yeah, what do you think about the game, DaBest?
This is one I was thinking about, honestly, quite a bit, because I'm just like, where do I even start with this? And according to what you said before, with like Emeraldminer having good speed, as well as Captain B-Nard, he has some pretty decent bulk to take those hits from those speedy mons, funny enough. Honestly, it's like, I could see this game going either way, I'll be honest. Some of the mons that he has, like, there's some strong mons, but like you mentioned, the Sneasler being his fastest mon. I see Emeraldminer having some mons that could definitely punish Sneasler, whether it be Metagross, you got Moltres. I mean, heck, I could maybe even see the Cryogonal doing something.
And even Annihilate could prove a pretty good wall for the Sneasler as well.
Period. Absolutely. As well as Emeraldminer to Captain B-Nard. I mean, he's got very good offense into him as well. It's like, yeah, he has a good bulk for it, but at the same time, I could see an Amberous going in. I could see Greninja definitely doing a lot of damage as well. And heck, even I could see something like Dragalge doing something with like its adaptability and stuff like that going in as well. That could be kind of neat going into this. Because if I'm not mistaken, his only fairy type is Grimmsnarl, if I'm correct, right?
Yes.
I could see that definitely doing something. I could see that thing putting work too.
And I could be wrong, but doesn't Dragalge, albeit I know it's more so known for its Spadef than its physical defense, but doesn't, at least based off the typing alone, doesn't it wall Sneasler? Or am I I'm not really too sure about Sneasler's.
It kind of can. With it resists both the
theory, if it's
stabs.
at full, Dragalge's more known
In
for the
theory is the
Spadef
right way to
rather
put
than
it.
the Fizdef.
Yeah, so yeah. And then also let's not forget, and then also with this Zangoose, let me see. B-Nard has Drifblim, and then he has Scizor, but outside of that, nothing's really would appreciate a hit from this thing. Albeit I don't think Emerald does the same thing as last week, but I'm just saying, like, just pointing that out as well. Actually, he has a lot of mons that can hit into this team. But then B-Nard just has the walls, from what I can look at. Oh, and then let's not forget, he also has the prankster screens if he decides to use that to try to help take those hits better, because he's going to need something with the way these speed tiers will look. Because let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 Pokemon alone outspeed 8 out of 10 mons, which, yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy. But regardless, both have been playing good all season. B-Nard has been taking his what's the word I'm looking for? He's been pretty tactical with the way he's been playing. Because I know, like, at a glance, his team doesn't look that doesn't look like it would be a very threatening team, but the way he pilots it, it would make you think otherwise about that. And
Yeah, I agree.
I
Yeah,
knew
face
that his
value
team
doesn't
would
seem
be
like
great
much,
because
but
just like we said in the right before we started the season, we were taking a look at the draft analysis. Like his team, of course, is his alternate reality version of his season 3 team, with just instead of the Concursion, he has the Indeedee to block out priority with Psychic Terrain, and then he has Arcanine Sui, which can hit super hard with Head Smash. He's got the Drift Blim to spin block. He's got the Azelf over the Mesprit to hit even harder. So just a lot of great, and I think he has Grimmsnarl that he used in season 2. So just an amalgamation of some of the best ones that he's used, all in one team. It's no surprise that up until last week he only had one loss, and even then his only loss was 1-0. So that just really goes to show the strength of his team. So I think it's just really going to be just like Al versus Beardo. It's going to be offense versus defense purely. Although of course he's got a lot of great offense himself. Yeah.
a good mix.
Y'all got any other thoughts?
I feel like we didn't hit. I know I didn't said everything I've had to say for the most part, yeah. But what about you, DaBest?
We pretty much covered what we said before when it comes to speed, bulk. It's just honestly, all in all, it comes down to the plays from both sides. Seeing how B-Nard pilots his team, very very strong. Seeing how Emeraldminer has worked his butt off to get here, very very nice. Gotta say, when it comes to the plays, it really just comes down to how you guys play. Real talk.
Because who do you feel like could be some key players here? 'Cause I think we talked about it earlier, that we thought like on Emerald side he has the Greninja and the Enamorist who could be really key in this game. But I don't think who we thought in regards to Captain B-Nard, who we thought could be key. Because we spoke on how Sneasler kind of doesn't have the easiest time.
No, this Emeraldminer has a lot of good ones that could definitely handle that mon to an extent.
And then after that, I mean, yeah, this is gonna be a crazy game. It'll be a crazy game. But who are you giving the edge to in regards to who you think is gonna win?
I think is gonna win, and this is giving the slightest edge just because I could see players doing very very well in this. Real talk. Coming from watching both games, I want to give the slight edge to Captain B-Nard. No offense, Demewlition.
Hey,
just the
not
slightest
taken.
little of edge. I could
Trust me.
just because I think
I'm not confident in my team.
But I am still rooting to like knowing how you are with your team and how you battle and stuff like that. Because battled before and I've seen how you played, so I could definitely see you at least putting up a fight, a very very good fight against B-Nard as well. Both of you guys.
Yeah. What do you think?
So like the slightest little edge to B-Nard for this one.
Well, I am going to play the other side and say that I want to give the slightest edge to, despite everything we've said, I want to give the slightest edge to Emerald. Just because I just feel like his team, at least when I'm looking at it, now maybe I need to look harder. Maybe I need to put my glasses on. But when I'm looking at it, I just feel like offensively he has a lot more going for him into this game. And it's like, yes, Captain B-Nard has the bulk, but as you mentioned before when we were talking about, I want to say it was Biradu and Al, when we were talking about this, how you can have walls, you can have bulk, but at the same time, these Pokemon can only take but so many hits. But I just feel like, yeah, I want to get the slightest edge to Emerald. Just for that, for the most part.
Fair enough.
And also, I kind of just don't want to agree with you at the moment. That's all it is, nothing personal. But
Okay. No, I think one of the main reasons I've been like,
Sensing some
I think one of the
tension
main
over there.
reasons no, you're good. No offense. It's just because like when it comes to like Captain B-Nard, as someone who's fought him in prior seasons, he's always bodied me. So it's like, gotta give some respect there.
And I really like.
Yeah, I will say, just to give a little bit more like of my side, not in terms of the matchup necessarily, but like our previous history, like B-Nard and I've only won against the guy one time in BHDL history, which was in season 1 with the infamous Articuno freeze. One could say the original hack sin. Like it all goes back to the origin of Heal Emerald himself. So if I could somehow redeem myself of that, perhaps I could finally purify Heal Emerald once and for all. But we'll see.
Let history repeat itself. Maybe. Who knows? Guess
Oh,
we'll find out.
I see there's a cryogonal over there. It'd be a shame if something happened.
He goes.
But yeah, every other time though, I mean, like, he beat me in season 2, fair and square. He beat me in season 3, although I will say, mostly because of my own mistake and not calcing the choice band Sneasler and seeing that the victory was right within my grasp. Of course, he'll tell you that the Sizzler could have crit the bullet punch, which is true. He could have still won that either way, but it was right there for me. But that being said, this is a very important game to me, so I'm very glad that it worked out that I could battle B-Nard once again. Just to, you can't go a season without Emerald versus B-Nard. It's the classic rivalry, so this will be a great game. I don't know how good I'll do, but I'll do my best.
It'll be a tough game, but it'll be a great game regardless.
Oh yeah, these are all going to be awesome games to watch. Be sure to get your popcorn, guys, and put it on. I'm gonna be streaming all the games on my TV. I'm gonna be watching them. It's gonna be great.
Maybe even order yourself a pizza while you're at it.
And that's the great thing about these playoffs too, is that I think only Arcaniner is not uploading his matches. So for a lot of these games, you'll be able to see both perspectives. So that'll be awesome. Yeah. So with that, I think we're good to go. Thanks again to Brandon and DaBest here for sticking it out for, I think, about an hour and a half. So this will be a nice video for you guys to watch. You guys got any closing remarks overall?
The only closing remark I have is, if you're watching this tomorrow, and I gave you the edge today, you're not allowed to lose. That's the only remark I have left.
Well, dang. Maybe some big words there. DaBest, what you got?
Let me add to that. If anything, do your best. All of you, do your best. Bring your fight out and fight for our entertainment. I'm just kidding. You guys fight well, do well, and best of luck to everybody. Real talk.
And please have fun. If nothing else.
Most important thing you can do is have fun.
All right. There we go. That's that. Once again, looking forward to all these matches. And we will see you guys in the next, at some point, hopefully, the semifinals match. We'll break down the next matches. So we'll see you guys then. Bye-bye.
Peace.
Peace out.